Hello, part number one. Thank you guys so much for being here once again. So I actually started meditating on your pile at 11:11 a.m. My time. And I found that really interesting because at the same time, the song, I wrote it down in my little notebook so that I wouldn't forget it while I was setting up the camera. But the song that was playing was Dimension by J5. And then when I came in the room and I started connecting to the energy again, I got the song Black Magic by Eminem and Skylar Grey, I believe. So what that tells me is what I needed to know about you is that you guys have been going through a lot of processes of curse cleansing. I would also say you guys would probably have recognized yourself to be karmic cleansers in one way of description, but in another way of description, people who have been changing the status quo, whether that be traditions within your family, traditional ways of growth that has been taught by other people outside of you, people who have come and gone that you've kind of vicariously lived through and witnessed their growth. So it's like you guys are really good at learning from other people's mistakes instead of repeating them, and this helps to prevent you from having to go through cycles of suffering, but it also helps you to tap into dimensions of wisdom that you don't necessarily have to embody. And this has helped you to redirect courses, to make better decisions, to reform ways of thinking, and belief formats. It's like you've changed a behavior that was implemented by many around you, and you proved to others that there were new ways or other ways of being able to approach issues or challenges, day-to-day obstacles, so I found that really interesting. I also got the message while listening to Dimension is that other people see you as otherworldly almost, pile number one. You might be someone who is identified to be a star seed, or you could be a her prophet. So you could give out prophecies, you could be a tarot reader, you could be a divinationist of some sort, but you don't have to be. You could just be someone who is really good at seeing into certain choices, opportunities and potentials, as well as consequences. That's also a spiritual gift that most people don't recognize to be a part of visionary ability. But anyway, pile number one, let's go ahead and jump into the spread here. I want to see what people are secretly saying about you behind closed doors. So we have gluttony. A lot of people feel like, from what I'm hearing, there's like chatter, murmuring, really earth dweller. Okay, so there's a few differing opinions that are going on in the energy. So in your masculine energy, there's a lot of people who are saying that you must be divinely connected in some way, shape or form, because they feel like your actions have been intuitively led. They also say or feel like you are very integral in your ways and you approach everyone with a firm, I don't know, devotion to authenticity. Like, you know who you are, so you don't lie about it. You have no reason to. But then on the other hand, there's like a group of people here that are talking about your current lessons and what they've seen you struggling with, and they think that it's gluttony. Gluttony doesn't have to always just focus around consumption. Gluttony could be like someone who withholds information, someone who is secretive, someone who wants to always come out on the high end of things, someone who I don't know, expresses gluttony through material possession or prestige and social recognition, things like this. Whereas I don't actually think that's true. What I actually think is that it's the people outside of you who are kind of jealous of you. Like, it's their jealousy, but they don't recognize it as jealousy because their trauma is self-rejection or abandonment. It's like they gave up on themselves so they couldn't accumulate goodness for themselves or learn how to use themselves in the best possible way to then create the outcomes that you have put work into creating. It's just lower opinions or lower perspectives because these people haven't done the work to be able to understand why you are where you are, if that makes sense, pile number one. So some other people might also be saying that you're kind of somewhat extraterrestrial with this card being here. It's kind of like what I was saying, otherworldly. It's like your consciousness is very different to most people. You seem to like introduce a new way of thinking that seems pretty out of this world. Not many people are used to coming across people who are as aligned as you are, or who are as experienced as you are, or well-rounded in your information and knowledge, as well as I'd say cultural background or history. It's like yeah, we have passive conformity here. So you offer a perspective to other people about philosophy, I would say here. Yeah, you give people you give people deeper insights into things like system structures, conditions, and patterns. You help people to break outside of what has been actually confining them by giving them the insight that they've needed to actually recognize the truth that they've been contributing to and actually living in. So I'd say that you're an active catalyst for people outside of you. You bring up hidden things, and you do it in ways that you present information in ways that are undeniable, and this is what people wouldn't say to you, that they talk about behind the scenes. You stun people, because what I keep hearing is like, wow, like that's what I keep hearing. People are like, oh my goodness, what are you doing, pal number one? You're shocking lots of people. Yeah, you're pointing people into the direction of discovery, and I almost feel like this is what this age is. We're almost entering into an energy that is fully in support of discovery. I feel like a lot of people in the past have become so used to doing things in one way that the evolutional growth became almost near impossible because there were no options. There was no room to grow anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, things started to crumble and people started to get too big for the spaces of which they were, so they started to explore outside of that, and that's the age that we're kind of in now. We're rediscovering what we have forgotten, and it's helping us to expand and grow. But I feel like you're the type of people who have always been awakened to the fact that there have been certain things that is posed to be good for us and to us that ultimately does not actually help us in the long run. And you're really good at revealing these things to people, because what we have here is for the trauma, persecution, and torture, but we also have servant, which is childcare and housework or other. What this really usually talks about, at least the servant card, is like a service, something that you feel compelled to do, something that you feel devoted to do. And I would say you are the type of person who has devoted yourself to revealing the truths of how it is that our systems kind of hurt us, or how it is that what we think is good can kind of torture us in the long run or create further problems later on. And this is what gives you that that energy of like visionary. You see into the future consequences of current or present time issues, you know. And that's what people are saying about you. People might have also said that if you've had a child, pile number one, early in like your pregnancy or when you were having your baby, there could have been people who were like against the way it is that you gave birth, or like the processes that you went through, or perhaps there was someone who had like issues with a midwife. Or perhaps there were certain conditions where there were people around you who were supposed to kind of take care of you, but they didn't. If anything, they probably made things harder for you. Just know that this person is going through a time period of like exposure where they're not being executed, but it's like cancelled energy. Like this person is kind of being like called out on some cuckers that they did, said, yeah, that they did or said, because we have snitch here, and then we also have a witness executed. But then we have midwife, faith healer, or herbalist, like a doctor. So yeah, there's someone here who might have been like all cuckers that is kind of being exposed or is about to be exposed. And they were supposed to be someone who was like a healer, someone who was supposed to give like really good advice, but they're going to be exposed. Like that's all I keep hearing. Tell them it's going to be exposed. But it's like being yelled almost. It's going to be exposed. Something about hidden treasure as well. There's information that is being corrupted for the longest time now, is what I just heard. So be on the lookout for kind of false prophets, false people, false teachings. I don't know. You might even be the types of people to be able to call out false people, like legit. That's what other people outside of you might actually be talking about, is like, you're not fake, you're not phony, you're not false. So it's easier for you to call out the fake and the phony. And I just heard the lost. You can tell the difference. And that's what people are saying. I get it now. I get it. If there are people in the past who you used to work with and you were afraid that they were spreading bad rumors about you or something, or talking down on you in the background, blah blah blahs, like, yes, that could be true, but they're being exposed whether you see this or not by the people that they have lied to. The proof is in the pudding. Or the other thing that I just heard is the proof is in the lack of expansion and growth, or effort, or proof. Whereas, I don't know, it's something about how you've put your head down and focused on building something or accomplishing something that has allowed your results to speak for you. So you didn't even have to fight to prove yourself. It's like your life circumstances doing that for you. Your lifestyle is doing that for you. So I really do like that for you, you know. Let's do one more card, please. What are people saying about those who have chosen pile number 1, please? As I looked down before, I saw 1212. People saying that you're headed towards new horizons with new opportunities that expand you in the same focus that you've already had. So what people are saying is that you guys have the ability to go further than what you might be imagining for yourself right now. Or people feel like you have the capability of pushing past certain limitations or barriers that people might have said that you wouldn't be able to outgrow. Alright, so what are people saying? Or what do people secretly think about my pile number 2? Sorry, about my pile number 1s. A lot of people are ungrounded around you, and I know that because I keep getting thrown off every single time I tap into the question. So that's telling me that they haven't got a particular formed opinion of you right now. They just keep getting blown away, really, with how much you seem to adapt and become flexible, or like... Oh, but they're also talking about how dependable you are. You're flexible but dependable at the same time, and your reliability kind of confuses people around you. They don't know how you do what you do, is what I just heard. Yeah, it's a mystery to them, but they're trying to learn to read between the lines of situations that they are witness to you going through. Like, I don't know, perhaps you haven't been very vocal about your recent paths, choices, how it is that you're developing yourself, or what it is that you're working on. And it's leaving these people in mystery or wonderment, so they can't form particular opinions about you because they just don't know. It's speculation. So they're kind of just like making assumptions from what they see you projecting or recreating in the world pile number 1. So I love that for you. Well, those are messages I have for you today. I hope this has come positive service to you. But with all that being said, until next time, pile number 1. Bye. Hello, pile number 2, and welcome to your reading. Thank you guys so much for being here once again. So we're going to go ahead, take a look at what it is that people secretly think about you, but they'll never really say to your face. So just 2 seconds, guys, sorry, as I'm aligning to your energy. Oof. You guys are going through situations of detoxification within the subconscious mind. I can feel it. It's like coming up. Just know that you're successfully kind of cleansing yourself of, I want to say, negative cycles or patterns, ways of thinking, ways of focus, dead end ways of like operating within the mind, how it is that you've been partnering with yourself. Like, I'm not even gonna lie about it. You've done a lot of shadow work, pile number 2, or at least it's like you're entering a time period where you're gonna feel compelled to be doing a lot of shadow work. That's where you focus in on kind of things that you've deemed as unworthy, bad, negative, things that you've attached negative connotation, is it connotations to? And kind of disabled them before knowing how to enable what you've deemed as bad. So you're going through processes of transforming how it is that you've used or identified with parts of yourself, and kind of leaving behind the judgments, the attachments. You've cleansed yourself of these things that have been projected onto you or things that have been conditioned into you. I heard that you guys are almost regenerating yourself. You're getting to know yourself once again. After a time of being focused on a lot of outside collective issues that you know you can't do anything about alone. And I think you've been a little bit self-defeating in your ways of thinking, pile number 2, because you're thinking of things that you have no power in or no direct influence in. So I think you've been recognizing these things within yourself and kind of, I don't know, redirecting them, learning to protect yourself from negative energies or things outside of you that just hurt you. It's not good for your overall well-being, is what I just heard. Let's go ahead and take a look. Please don't be worried. You got nothing to be worried about. I don't know, one or two of you have been a little bit more intimidated recently or overly cautious of your surroundings. So pile number 2, please. What do people secretly think about those who chose this pile, but would never say to their face? So we have Sacred Union, and then we also have the River Queen, flow, letting go, and natural movement. I felt that the letting go, the cleansing thing, people know that you've been doing a lot of work to you've been putting in a lot of work to move away from things that you know just weren't good for you, that were toxic for you, that were self-defeating, or just not good for you. And then we also have the Sacred Union, partnership and romance. So some people are even talking about you making a decision to move away from a partnership or some form of romance that you know wasn't really good for you. We have number 27 and 36. That's really interesting because 36 and 27 both reduce down through 9. So we have a 99 here, which talks about compassionate endings, closure, allowing yourself to move forward with good intentions. It's like you're not really attached to this person anymore. That's what people think. And if anything, you've probably wished them well. This is what people are thinking behind your back or discussing about your partnership. Yeah. People also are saying that they believe you have divine connection. It's either to someone who you've loved very dearly that has passed forward or passed on, that is helping you, or you're connected and have a special connection to Source or who we call God. People are also saying that you might pray a lot, or like if you have spiritualist friends, pile number 2, your spiritualist friends are saying that you would benefit from praying more often or setting intentions more often, because it will like seal your energetic space. So yeah, people are also saying, even though you've been through so much recently, you've done really, really well and handled everything with a lot of integrity. People are really surprised and shocked with how far you raised above things that only came to kind of pull you down. So yeah, you've transformed a lot of emotional things. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you're gonna use what you've been through to motivate you towards something better. And that doesn't have to just be romance. That could just be anything. The way it is that you partner with yourself, the way it is that you invest in yourself, your life, your partnerships, your friendships, your focuses. Like, if you're the person who's had a lot of focuses on outward, worldly issues that you have no power over, I would say you probably drained yourself a lot and exhausted yourself and put yourself into really negative mind frames. So now I saw that you guys were recentering yourself or would benefit from doing so, and that's what the energy is going to help to support around you. Okay, so what are people saying about those who have chosen pile number 2? What is it that they secretly think that they would never say to my pile number 2's faces? That they see that you're always doing the best that you can. You're always putting your best foot forward. I heard that you're very good at simplifying things. A lot of people feel like they don't measure up to you, quite literally, is what I just heard. I've seen, what are they, tape measures? The things that have the extendable measurement. Yeah. And the cards that came out here was preparation, prayer, and sacred ritual. Yeah, once again, a lot of people think that you're either doing a lot more praying and you have been connecting a lot more to your angelic or angelic guardians, or like your energy, your spirit team, or that you need to. If you are someone who actively practices in the manipulation of energy, or you identify to be as a witch, people are also discussing your rituals or your spell work. It's like people are saying that your spell work has worked or something if you recently set a spell over someone or casted a spell. And I don't know if that's good or bad or not, so I'm not going to judge it because I wouldn't know. But then we also have small steps in asking for help, ideas preserved. Alright, so people also think that you're hiding things in a way. They think that you've got a deep understanding of a purpose or a meaning that you're wanting to work towards. And some people feel entitled to know what it is that you're doing. But there are a lot of other people around you who are saying that the people who were close to you really didn't deserve to be there. Yeah. They're also secretly behind the scenes wishing that you would come to them and ask them for help or open up to them more. Because a lot of people actually see huge potential within you. Like huge potential. It's just that I think you're still developing the ability to see the potential within yourself and discern what potential is going to be effective for the time, for the present, or for the moment being. And then knowing what to hold on to for later, you know, before you move forward and actively take action towards things. Some of you might have actually recognized that you might have needed help, like deeper help, like some form of therapy or a counselor. And some people are saying that you might have actually been doing that and like seeking out active counseling, or they're saying that you would do well speaking to someone who can provide support for you, because they're worried that you've been having to go through things, because you've been going through a lot of things where a lot of people would be too scared to go through. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, But what a lot of people don't know outside of you is that you going through these things has helped you to transform your subconscious mind and purify yourself of a lot of conditions and programming that a lot of other people outside of you are still operating through, that you will be able to see very clearly through. And that's probably why you might even experience a little bit of frustration, pile number 2, with other people outside of you when you're trying to express yourself, is that you feel like other people outside of you don't understand, perhaps. But it's more so from a point of, I feel as though you might have more emotional attachment to the things that you see compared to the people that you're sharing what you see with. You see what I mean? So this is saying, go and ask for help from the appropriate people. Express yourself to the appropriate people, because then you're going to feel much more understood. You know what I'm saying? So I think you would also benefit from learning psychic protection. I know this is supposed to be about what people wouldn't really say to your face, but I think you really do need to learn how to set better boundaries with what it is that you are giving and what it is that you're open to receiving. Quite literally, because I don't know, there's going to need to be like a transformation around what it is that you are allowing in your life that still contributes to your own relationship with self and your own self-care routines and needs, you know. I hope you understand what I'm saying and I'm not sounding crazy. But anyway, what are people who are thinking behind closed doors that they would never see to my pile number two's faces? So the people that are closest to you believe that you have the ability to transmute negative energy. You heal people sexually, just saying. And if it's not sexually, it's through your creativity of whichever art form you identify with. There's something that you're really, really good at that comes from a very true place within yourself. And what you do is kind of like engraved with healing energy, whether you know this or not. It helps transmute people's perspectives, understandings. But if you are someone who is, you know, you have an ex talking about you, or people who you have slept with in the past talking about you, and they're saying like, you know, sleeping with you is completely transformational. Take it as a compliment. Number two. So yeah, people also saying that you're really good at cultivating results or growth processes within the things around you. You're very good at spotting out the goodness within people, the hidden beauties within people, and growing this into confidence within them. And people will never really say this to your face, but that's what they feel like you're really good at doing for them or providing for them, is support, encouragement, and confidence. You provide like a safe space for them to really truly blossom. So you provide an environment that's healthy for other people to blossom, really. Yeah, the revolution and the sage. Yeah, you help people to transmute the way it is that they understand themselves so that they can move into doing things in better ways, have better understandings, adopt better perspectives, belief systems, and actions and behaviors. And that's what people really will think about you. They would also probably never tell you that they see you as someone who's put in a lot of work to grow. They've seen that you've put in a lot of work to gain the insight it is that you have, and you've probably gained a lot of life experiences that a lot of other people around you wouldn't really go through in one of their lifetimes. You've been through a repetitive process of something, and they want you to know that they think about you often. The people that you hold close to you, they think about you often, and they would like to express their support to you, but I don't think they really know how. Have you been ignoring phone calls or texts? Perhaps some of you guys have been a little isolated and kind of ignoring your messages. There are people who care about you that want to check in with you. So once you're feeling energized enough, please get back to the people who are reaching out to you, because yeah, they're worried for you and they want to release that worry. They want to know that you're doing okay, going through your cleansing processes and moving forward. Yeah, they want to know that you're able to create balance within yourself and heal yourself after a really crazy time period. I personally think you're doing well. I personally think you're just doing the necessities behind the scenes to help, you know, build yourself back up with the hammer being here. Yeah, and I think you're focused on creating positive movement. I think you've got new ideas, new perspectives, and new vitality, a new inspiration, and a new drive or motivation within to start moving in a different direction than what you had been heading in before. And yeah, people are going to find this really weird. Like, you're going to blow people's brains with how you approach something in the future, because they're going to have really like heavy concerns about you, but you're going to prove to like them that they didn't really need to think of you in this way, that you have the power to do exactly what it is that you set your mind to, or that you've said that you were going to achieve, and all they need to do is just kind of observe you. So there's nothing that you need to prove. People just think that you're really strong and you've overcome a lot of challenges that they couldn't imagine themselves having to go through. So they're kind of commending you in the background, but they're not really telling you to your face right now. But those are the messages that I have for you today, pile number 2. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope this has come a positive service to you. With all that being said, until next time. Hello, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. So just a small disclaimer before I enter into this reading. I'm going to touch on something that is quite upsetting, and it's not going to be for all of you. But I can't lie about it because it came in through the energy as I was aligning to your guys' energy through setting intention before I hit record, yes. So I'm not going to lie. So there's someone who might have gone through a recent miscarriage or a loss of a child, and if that is true to be the case, I deeply, deeply, deeply apologize. I am very, very sorry. There's nothing I can say to make that better, but there are people outside of you who have been talking about that and don't want to come to you to talk to you about it because they don't want to overstep your boundaries. There are people who are around you that wish to extend support to you, just so you know. And there are a lot of feminine energies around you trying to help to nurture you right now. So please remember to take care of yourself. Please take care of your body. It is still your temple. Please remember that. Yes, do not get swept away. Please remind yourself that you're a necessity. You are needed. So please look after yourself, especially your mental health. You know, if you need to, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My email address is in the description below if you would like to speak to somebody who is open to just listen and extend my support in whichever way that I can. Okay, so for everyone else, hello, welcome. Sorry to open the reading on such a heavy note, but for everybody else, let's go ahead and take a look at your guys' energy. So I needed to get that out as soon as possible. Thank you. So, you guys have gone through a transformation of consciousness. You guys have reached higher dimensions of understanding of self or self-recognition. There's an old version of yourself that you no longer identify with. It's like it's passed away. What I heard was, you know that song, Taylor Swift? Taylor can't come to the phone right now. Something about why? Because she's dead. Look what you made me do is the name of the song. Look what you made me do, by Taylor Swift. What's that about, please? Okay, so I feel like there's been a lot of situations and relationship dynamics in the past where you guys have attracted or been with a lot of people who have not been so healthy for you or have not been so good for you. You were someone who gave a lot of value to the people that you love, and you still do this, but people that you once loved and people who you once loved are recognizing what they kind of mistreated. I want to say here, people are starting to see that you're not just any regular sort of human being. There's something about you that is completely different. I have no other word to express that. Some of you guys probably feel like this isn't like your true home. Earth isn't like your true home. You might even feel like really out of place here, or you feel like this world is too dysfunctional for someone who operates in the way that you do through your own consciousness. So yeah, I would say that you guys feel pretty out of place at times. You guys might even feel quite awkward a lot of the time out in public or different sorts of settings, especially formal settings, or like I'm seeing like gatherings where there are lots of different sorts of people. You're the type of people that I'd say are probably a little bit more introverted. You like smaller groups of people that you know very intimately or very well, and you don't like to really overshare personal details or stories with many different people. So perhaps this is why you don't really like reaching out for help from other people. I would say that you're very independent and you're very good at working through things on your own. you know. So let's go ahead and see what are people secretly thinking about my pile number 3 is that they would never admit to their face. We have entertainer. People think that you're really entertaining, and you shake things up a lot. So we have the tornado description come out here. This talks about you being someone who comes in naturally as yourself, and you change things a lot just through your perspective, through sharing your ideas, through sharing your mind. People could also be saying that you come in at really heavy times in other people's lives and help them to create like peace within chaos, is what I just heard. That's really interesting. Jungle. Okay, jungle and sexual abuse. You might have been someone who has gone through a lot of dark experiences with sexuality, and you might see sexuality in a very different way, and you might be someone who has deemed it as something very sacred, but you also see the wild side of sexuality. I think you guys have provided a lot of support for people who have been used. You probably have attracted in a lot of people who have felt used, abused, misunderstood, people who have been traumatized by love, and you help heal people around traumatized love. It's like you are a guardian of people who love to love. And that's really beautiful, but at the same time, I can see how it can be very gut-wrenching for you at times to see so much suffering when it doesn't have to be. But this is what people are saying and secretly think about you, is that you're the perfect person to be doing what you're doing after everything it is that you've been through. You are the perfect example. You are a living example. You are living proof that something is achievable. There's like life after something horrific that you guys can relate to, that you have probably helped support other people through as well. And people talk about that a lot. People say that you're also a very bubbly person. You're very actually entertaining. You're someone who is probably either got like a musician talent, like a dance talent. You could be an actor, a performer in general, an entrepreneur, or you could be someone who makes video content like what I'm doing here. And people find you really entertaining just because you are yourself. You know, you're intriguing is what I just heard. And people aren't really saying this to you right now. People are talking about how you have done a lot to build yourself away from very fearful situations, very confining situations, things that only came to hold you back from full understanding. Some of you might identify to be like a druid. Some of you might even work with things like ruins, tarot divination, occult practices, modalities. You guys might have a way of gaining insight about the future, or gaining insight about hidden knowledge that is useful, and extracting that and then like translating that. So you might be an energy translator or interpreter, kind of like me, yeah, with self-identity being here. Yeah, I would say so. This is just part of your like personality. You do this naturally. You're very good at saying the right thing without really knowing why or how. It's because you're instinctively connected. Like, this is part of your first nature. This is just the way that you move and you live in your everyday life. And people are talking about this as well. It's like you say things at the most bizarrest times that seem to resonate on point, and it's like people don't even have to explain things to you. You just know, because you are aligned, because you genuinely care. Yeah, so your people are talking about how you could have abandoned something, or you have been abandoned by other people outside of you. You could have even abandoned your academic studies. For some of you might have even have left school really, really young. Some of you might have even have been really young parents, and it made you miss out on certain forms of development. But with time, I think you almost expressed to people like, what was it gonna do for me? What difference was it going to make? Because let's be real, there's a lot of people who have like really high qualifications but have never worked a day in what they are qualified at. You know, so it kind of just proved to us that a certificate and years and years and years of devotion sometimes boils down to nothing in the career field. And you kind of prove to these people that, you know, you can still gain success without having to go through a traditional route. You could have been the first type of person to do this. You could have also put a science to something, a science to like a particular esoteric understanding. You became professional in something that was completely different or outside the status quo. You could be like an artist, or like the first type of person to be successful at what you were working on in your family. So people are talking about how they might have let you down. They're reflecting on how they could have been more supportive. They're reflecting on things that you said that they didn't take seriously, and they're admitting that they were wrong, or having realizations of how they could have approached things better, done things better, been a better person toward you, or treated you better. But they won't say this to you. Yeah, they're talking about your faith. You could either be ethically religious, or you could be ethically spiritual. And they're talking about this. So you might be the first sort of person to kind of tap in to spirituality in this way. Some people are also talking about how you are a dreamer, but really what they don't actually understand, pile number 3, is that you're a wisdom keeper. That's why you have the ability to see the highest potential within certain circumstances, and you highlight these things, but people don't take it seriously until they take themselves seriously and they start to build towards those possibilities. So it's like some people didn't really listen to you, and they thought that you could have been manufacturing like some form of magic based prediction, or like work, or like spell casting, but really it wasn't. You were providing encouragement. Yeah, you're providing encouragement to people, like showing them options, giving them perspectives of how to approach things to get the best possible outcomes. But it was like, it's practical. You know, you were giving practical advice to these people, but they thought that you were like spellcasting on them, or like, I don't know, giving them bad advice or abusing your power in some way. But I don't know, something that you said or did, or like prophesied, is going to bring you fame or some form of recognition or popularity. It's going to bring you some form of return that expands, you know. So if you are someone who works on like a social platform, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, I would say over the years you're going to start to see it really pick up, and it's going to expand much further than what you think it will. Your faith might evolve as well the more that you grow in intellect and the more wisdom that you gain. Yeah, you guys are well informed and you're quite enlightened as it is. You're going to be connecting with your tribe this year, and you're also going to be, your prophecies are going to be proven true. Or it's like it's going to start to prove itself after a time of being slandered. Yeah, prophecy and gifts. Yeah, I thought so. Slander, abuse, prophecy and gifts. Yeah, you gave out authentic truths about yourself, or things that you saw, and people didn't believe in you, but now they're going to. Or they already have, and that's what they're discussing, but they're not telling you the truth of how true what you said was that came true. Wise person came back out. An adventurer. Yeah, you're a person who is well cultured, well rounded, and you know what to talk about. You don't waste your time, and you don't like to waste other people's times. And that's what people are saying now, that they were greedy with you, with your time, with your attention, with your gifts, with what you were providing. And now you've outgrown them, and you're using them in different ways. They're kind of waking up to how they mistreated you. Abuse. So those are the messages I have for you today. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope this has come a positive service to you and has provided you with some form of clarity. With all that being said, pile number 3. Until next time, bye-bye. Hello, pile number 4, and welcome to your reading. Thank you guys so much for being here today. So we're going to be tapping into your guys' energy and taking a look at what it is that people secretly think about you but don't tell you to your face. So you guys have a lot of ancestral influences around you right now. They're wanting you to look more deeply into your ancestral background. If you do that, you're going to discover more clarity to do with spirituality, life direction, or questions that you've had for a long time that will be answered, and probably questions that you forgot about. I don't know. There's wisdom available to you that you could refresh your mind with and look into or study more about that will help you to expand in new ways moving into the rest of the year. I just saw a hawk leaving, not outside of me, but intuitively or like clairvoyantly, and it was kind of perching, but then it left. So it's like you guys are breaking free of the past, I think, or past time attachments, and you're recognizing shadow work that was needed to have been done, or that you have done or are going through currently. It's not something that's coming up in the future because it's not moving into the future. It's something that you're bringing it into now, like right now, or recently have, like in the past, I want to say like 48 hours. There's something that you've come to a realization about that you've figured out needed to transform, and with a simple shift of perspective you'll set yourself free of something. That's for some of you, yeah. So I just want to take a quick look into the energy. What do I need to know about those who choose pile number 4, please? We have the elk totem. So what you need to know is that you're learning how to take control of your current circumstances and your current self-awareness in order to use both to the best of your ability to create better outcomes moving into the future. You guys are redirecting your path after a time of having it like corrupted in some way, shape or form. I just heard, yeah, that's right. Sorry, that was more for me because I started to doubt what I was picking up on in the energy. Things are going to get a lot brighter for you guys, just so you know. Like if you have been going through something heavy, or like you felt like you had to be at a pause, a patient time, it was to help you to gain an understanding or clear perspective of your hidden strengths, talents and abilities. You're actually quite the powerhouse with the crocodile totem coming out here, as well as the elk totem. This is very divine masculine energy. So I'd say that you guys are taking control over your mind, your actions, your behaviors, your projections and your perceptions. Yeah, and this is helping you to feel more safe in your environments or just in your own skin, pile number 4. This is helping you to let go of old defense mechanisms that were kind of not helping you to keep pain away from you. It was trapping pain inside and stifling your energy, your vitality, your desire for connection, your humorous outlook on life as well, and your understanding that suffering is only temporary, or stages of life is a cycle. Things are only temporary. We can never be guaranteed a complete forever. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that's forever is your soul. That's the surety of eternity, you know. So your self-awareness has evolved, at least, pile number 4, and that's what Spirit wanted me to know about you before we enter in this energy. So what are people secretly thinking about you that I wouldn't say to your face? I just heard that you're actually really beautiful. Like perhaps you guys have had a glow up recently and people are talking about that. Yeah, you're looking fine. We have controversial, assessing, and new perspectives. People are starting to see you differently than what they once used to. I don't know. You're creating a shift of opinion within other people. And this is because you've shifted the opinion or perspective that you held of yourself, and you're starting to move more truthfully to your authenticity. We have the bigger picture. You're building towards the future, and we have the Eagle King. So you're learning how to build your legacy, or like build a particular vision that you've held in your heart, not in your mind but in your heart's desires. And you're starting to actually put adequate action behind something you've been wanting to support into being, with the number 1 and 5 being here, and number 12. 12 talks about a new beginning or a transformation to an approach of something that you're wanting. And 15 talks about you taking independent action towards creating change or joy and fulfillment. This can also say that some people are saying that you're going to head towards a new connection in the near future that is going to be much more generous, and that is going to be much more giving, something that is going to be much more complementary to you, with the number 20 being here, which reduces down to 2, which is all about union. 20 and 0 talk about the infinite possibility of union together. So yeah, you're going to find that the connections that you start to attract in from here on out are going to be much more like deep to you. They're going to be much more reflective to the truth of yourself, and they're going to help you to discover more about your own untapped capabilities or potential. They're going to help you to see yourself in new ways, and it will motivate you or inspire you in new directions. Yes. So what are people thinking about you that they would never say to your face? Please, Spirit. I just heard they're going to quit playing with you. There's been someone who's been testing you. This person's not going to be testing you anymore. So if you felt like there's been a particular energy that keeps repeating itself, this could even be through different people. A certain opinion or energy that's been playing with you, it's going to be going away now. Like, you're not going to be experiencing that anymore. With the High Lady of Love and Compassion being here, reverence, kindness, and consideration. Yeah, people are going to be much more considerate for you and of you and what you might be going through. Because what a lot of people were doing was approaching you with a very narrow mind, a very black and white perspective. And they're no longer looking at you in this way anymore. They're starting to understand that you're very original, with number 1 being here, very individualistic. They didn't know you. They knew of you what they wanted to know of you, or they knew of you what you allowed them to know. They don't know who you are, so they can't control you. Because I feel like there have been people around you who have been trying to direct your life path, but they weren't telling you this. Like, there are people who are trying to influence your life path on purpose, and they weren't telling you this. But it's kind of like you stayed true to yourself, your originality, and what you knew of yourself, and you chose yourself, and you implemented that integrity and your own core principles and morals and values, and it's given other people outside of you a different perspective. And this is what they're talking about, you know. Interesting. They also say that you have a very powerful survival instinct, so you're very good at cultivating stability, security, or capitalizing on goodness. Pile number 4, you're very good at taking insignificant things and turning them into something beautiful, useful, helpful, or much more than what it actually is. So I'm hearing some people feel like a D-head because they doubted you for what you were working on. They didn't realize that you knew what you were doing, and them just doubting you and throwing unnecessary comments at you didn't do anything but upset you and push you away. So I'd say that there'll be some people who are going to come towards you and try and like reunion with you, or make up for something that they did that was out of order, is what I just said. Bang out of order. So yeah, this is going to help you to build better trust foundations with people outside of you. It's going to help you guys to strategize towards solutions, and also strategize towards understandings of what sorts of connections are good for you and what are not. And people outside of you are recognizing how they've not been good for you, and that's the truth, and they're not going to tell you that. Pile number 4. So we have the Galactic Federation, and we also have the Ice Queen. Ideas preserved, non-action, and entitlement. We have the collaboration, meetings, and community. So there are some people who feel entitled to your time, or entitled to claiming some forms of achievement that you have independently worked to get for yourself. Don't let people claim your achievements. You know, make sure you speak up for yourself, and be honest with people outside of you. You know, definitely give credit to people who have inspired you, but don't let people like claim to be your mentor or your reason for success. Absolutely not. Yeah. Thankfully, you've been someone who's been quite isolated, someone who enjoys their own solitude, their own independence, and their own peace. So I would say you're not usually someone who likes to spend a lot of time in public around many people. So it's going to be very easy for you to be honest, and be like, well, actually, I developed this myself, and this is how I did it, and this is how I know I did it successfully. Like, you can explain the ins and outs of things that most people can't, which means you know what you're talking about, and other people outside of you do not. Pile number 4. But they won't admit to you when they know that you've caught them out. Like, there's certain things that you do to disarm people, but they won't admit that you've changed their mind, you've changed their opinions, or that you've changed their outlooks. And that's what people are thinking about you right now, that they're not admitting to you. So those are the messages I have for you today. Thank you so very much for stopping by. I hope this has come of positive service to you. By your number 4. And with all that being said, until next time, bye-bye.